Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video.
Throwaway because all my friends are on this app. To get a full understanding of this situation, I'll give you all some background. So, Amelia and I have been best friends since middle school, completely inseparable. The kind which teachers, parents, and everyone knew about and would ask if they saw one without the other. I thought this was meant forever. Our friendship and our strong bond would last for life. I found our bond so strong that it felt like it could outdo all relationships, all friendships, and all the relations in existence. But that was far, far from the case. And the teen me was unfortunately going to find that out very soon and in the worst possible ways. So, junior year of high school rolled around and everyone was hitting puberty. Well, some already have, but some were still on their way. One of the late bloomers in our high school was Amelia. Even though she looked way younger than her age, no one really ever made fun of her or anything, but she was very insecure of herself. Understandably so. All of us still tried to uplift her because, after all, she was like the golden retriever of our grade. Always cheerful and bubbly, kind to everyone, smart and full of potential. But like I said, all until junior year of high school rolled around, and it was like Amelia had a huge glow up. She looked completely different, in a good way, obviously, and I could just tell a lot had changed. Not just in the matter of looks, but in matters of personality, dressing, and others too. Regardless, though, I was very happy for her because she had achieved the thing she wanted so badly. And I thought this would just make our bond stronger. This would become yet another story that we could tell our children about our life. And after seeing her, right after the summer break, my mind became clouded with such thoughts. I was so proud of her. Well, this is when things started looking down for our friendship, subtly. Of course, now that she was all good looking, the popular kids wanted to befriend her. The sports guys who previously made fun of her were now hitting on her. And although I liked how great it made Amelia feel, I couldn't help but notice her distance with me and our small friendship group. I know. All this high school drama sounds too boring for a site like Reddit, but hear me out because things just got worse from down here. Suddenly, she lost interest in our group activities. Baking became boring. Art became boring. Now, the only thing entertaining was partying, which I was dragged to by her. I'd be lying if I denied I felt cool and enjoyed them, but at the end of the day, I just missed my old Amelia. But of course, she was never going to be back, and I guess it was going to take me too long to realize that. So we've graduated from high school and are in undergraduate school now. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with a whole lot of Amelia now because although she's in the same city as me, she goes to a different college and stays around the same clique. Now, this didn't mean that we were no longer best friends. Just meant that we had slightly become more distant. And honestly, the fact that I felt relieved from it should have been a huge red flag. But well, it was not, and I continued being friends with Amelia, even though she had become too entitled and obviously lost all of her personality. So we graduated from college as well, and needless to say, amidst all the partying, Amelia has passed with a horrible GPA, which was most likely not going to get her anywhere. Good thing though, because she's had herself covered by dating a rich IT guy. He's as entitled as her, but they seem like a good couple. So I'm happy for them. Around this time, I met my boyfriend too. It was right after graduation, actually. It was the owner of the local Italian place me and my friends went to celebrate. We immediately hit it off and began dating. Let's call him Matteo. Well, soon I also found out that Matteo came from a very rich family. Say, old Italian wealth kind? Yes, I even met his family back in Italy a couple of times. Well, the moment Amelia and I graduate, she's flown out to Europe by her boyfriend, and it's like she's completely disappeared. I try to call and text her, but no response. Hell, even her parents don't know where exactly she is. Eventually, I just get fed up with trying and let go. I do hear back from her eventually, right after about a year of me and Matteo dating. She calls me to inform me that she's returning to the USA with her boyfriend, and that was it. After that, I didn't hear from her for another year. On the other hand, Matteo and I are having completely different problems, ranging from all sorts communication, trust, and everything in between. We spend a year amidst this mess until it happens. Amelia suddenly reaches out to me once again. She's crying and kind of a mess, telling me how her boyfriend broke up with her and how much she loved him. Apparently, he threw her on the streets after he found another girl. My best friend instinct started buzzing once again. I knew she wasn't in contact with anyone, and by the way she made it sounded like her boyfriend had manipulated her into cutting us all off. So I made the biggest mistake I could make: let her into my house. The first month goes smoothly. Hell, the communication between Matteo and I became better within this month. I was happy. Amelia seemed happy, and so did her parents. Everything was good. But then it hit me. I was out to get groceries one day, and I got inside my home with my keys instead of ringing the bells like usual. That is when I heard Matteo gaming with his friends and talking all sorts of smack about me, that too very confidently, talking about my looks, my insecurities, my deepest secrets, and making me break every way possible. I was so devastated that I dropped all the groceries in my hands, causing him to look over at me, and he had no expression on his face, not a sense of fear, anger, nothing. I knew at that moment our relationship was over, and he told me so. I was devastated. I immediately packed up my things and left, while Amelia stood there looking at me as Matteo berated her, telling me how he could do so much better than me. The very same day, I saw the Instagram post made by Matteo declaring his relationship with Amelia. My heart broke into pieces, but that wasn't all, though. Right as I woke up the next day, well, got woken up by my friend, to be specific, to look at the news, I was dumbfounded to find a picture of Matteo and Amelia on our local news channel. The reporter talking about how Matteo and Amelia had stolen a gold ring from the local jewelers and was caught on camera. I was astonished. I didn't know what to do. I knew my phone was going to flood with texts at any point now, and I shut it off. Unsurprisingly, I did see a text from Amelia's dad, who was berating me for not looking after Amelia well enough. WTF? I have shut my phone down ever since. I have no idea what to do. AITA? All of you were right. I needed to turn my phone on and confront the situation. As soon as I turned on my phone, it was full of a million texts, not just from Amelia's parents, though, but my own parents too, all talking about how disappointed they are in me. This was all within the span of a couple of hours. BTW. So I was even more confused. I first decided to call up Matteo's brother, who had left me a couple of voicemails asking me if I was okay and telling me that he had a lot to say to me. What a kind soul, honestly. I immediately decided to ring him up. Unfortunately, he was unavailable to answer currently. I think I'm going to put a hold to reply to Amelia's parents and my own until I understand the extent of the situation. We'll update you all next. Thankfully, Louis, Matteo's brother, contacted me back soon after and explained to me the entire situation. And oh boy, was it a lot. He started off by telling me that the moment I left the house, Matteo called Louis up to ask him for money to buy a gold ring because apparently he was going to propose to me. His family was delighted to find this and started pressing on him to find more information. But when Matteo scrambled to tell them anything and Louis found out the Instagram post, they immediately cut him off, going as far as seizing his bank account because apparently the family restaurant that he claimed to be working in was actually looked after by Matteo's uncle rather than him. He apologized to me profusely for Matteo's actions and told me that the reason he had been calling me so much was to tell me about all of this because he kind of figured that Matteo dragged my name under the mud. I was tired of Matteo's BS at that point and so just thanked Louis and hung up the call. Now, I have tried contacting both my parents and Amelia's, and it seems like they're busy with things. We'll update you all next when I get a response from them back. Hi all. I talked to my parents and Amelia's parents both on a conference call as they had suggested. I guess all of them wanted to pile up on me about not saving their precious baby. But I made sure to shut down all and every attempt to make me feel guilty, as I told them clearly how the situation went down from the beginning till the end, even showing them the screenshots. Amelia's parents immediately became flustered. I guess the realization of being wrong hit them and just knew they had to accept the fact that their daughter has become a horrible person. My parents stayed quiet throughout the entire ordeal, and towards the end of it all, they both tried apologizing to me, which I simply declined, telling them that I didn't have it in my heart to accept their apologies, at least now. The jewelry store that Amelia and Matteo had stolen from has gone ahead and pressed charges for theft, and the two are very likely to face jail time. My parents also told me that Matteo came clean to Amelia's parents about the entire situation, how it was Amelia who wanted a ring rather than me, which they had to deal with because of his family closing his bank accounts. Upon hearing this, Amelia's parents shut down all and every contact with her. All of this has been a mess, to say the least. If things weren't hard enough between Amelia and I, she did an amazing job to push both my parents away from me, too. Regardless, I know this is going to be a long healing process, and I'm hoping to meet people worthy of me through it. NTA. I hope the crazy couple faces the longest jail sentence available so that they can enjoy being relationship goals in the jail. Sorry you had to go through all of this, OP. Hi, I'm not American. I, female in my early 20s, work two jobs. One of them is a corporate job in the industry I specialized in after uni in the morning. The other is a teaching job in the afternoon. I work from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. most days, but I choose to. That is true. My goal is to save up and buy a parcel to build on eventually. My dad has been unemployed for around a decade, and he has taken up the role of stay-at-home husband, but does very little chores and never cooks. I don't have any say in this because my mom asked me to stay out of their marriage arrangements, and so I do. Yesterday, my aunt, Dad's cousin, and her husband were at my parents' house, and so was I. I live here. My aunt was flattering me and telling me how hard-working and responsible I was, to which I replied with similar compliments for her children. My dad went into the conversation and started to underestimate my efforts, saying how easy both my jobs were and how unworthy of any compliments I was for it. I politely cleared that they weren't all that easy and that they were meaningful to me and, of course, tiresome to me. I said, of course, my jobs were more comfortable than agriculture or warehouse working, some of the jobs he worked in the past, but they are equally as important. He got ruder and started saying I only knew how to whine, uh, and that working two jobs has no merit. He also added that I didn't even make a lot of money, and I refuted that I make fair money. I got offended and said he shouldn't be the one to speak, given I work 2 jobs and he works 0, and my salaries pay for a lot of our household expenses, more than is strictly fair. He said he keeps the house, and I said I do way more chores than him, as well as my mom. I dropped it and changed the topic after my aunt started scolding him for not appreciating my efforts. Later on, he screamed at me and called me an AH for defending myself and humiliating him in front of my aunt by saying he doesn't have a job. He said it is normal to talk bad about your own children's accomplishments, and I should have taken it. AITA? NTA, your father is definitely the AH and ungrateful for your hard work and contributions to the household. I'm glad your aunt scolded him for berating you. I don't want to excuse his rude behavior, but I wonder whether he might be depressed and have low self esteem. When I was laid off from a job and unable to find a new one for a long time, I felt extremely depressed. Also, in some cultures, there are superstitions about praising a child because it's considered bad luck. Could this be the case in your family? It doesn't excuse the behavior, but might explain it. NTA, he sounds like he's not happy about not working, and I don't know whether he's unemployed because of injuries that don't allow him to work, or if he just doesn't want to work, but you never talk bad about your children's success. You should want your kids to excel. Typing this before going back to work for an overnight tonight, and I try to bust my butt, mainly so my kids can appreciate hard work, but also strive to do better than me when they get older, like finding a good paying job that doesn't basically require overtime to make money. I would never see my kids more successful than me and be jealous or project insecurities about not being as good. My mother, S, retired a couple of years ago and has taken up flipping things on eBay or Depop as a hobby. She does not do this with the intent to hit it big. She just enjoys the hunt and running into cool pieces. Usually, she finds these things in estate sales, thrift stores, etc. If she sees something she thinks I will like, she'll send it to me. A month or so ago, she found a beautiful space age style lamp at an estate sale in rural part of the state she lives in. She paid something like $200 for it and sent a picture of it to me, as she often does. She's an avid viewer of antique roadshows and had a hunch that it was worth some money. The lamp fits the mid-century modern style of my apartment, and she brought it to me when she visited my city the following week. Not a week later, a post appeared on the Facebook page my mom found the estate sale through from the family that hosted the estate sale. It was quite a sad post mentioning that the lamp was an heirloom and had been accidentally sold by the contractor they used to run the sale. They offered a cash reward for the return of the lamp. Naturally, after seeing this post, we did some research and found out that the lamp was worth several $1,000s. Although I did love the lamp, I have a good amount of car debt that the sale would essentially clear out. After some deliberation, me and my mom decided to sell it, and we split the profits in a way we found equitable. Soon after the sale, my mother was messaged on Facebook by someone accusing her of being the one who bought the lamp. My mom is relatively unique looking, so we figured they had scanned the Facebook group for someone matching her description. The message was kind but pleading. We have not responded. The message the family sent went like this in a nutshell. We believe it was you who bought our lamp. We would appreciate opening a conversation about returning the lamp for our discussed reward. We hope you have not decided to sell the lamp, but if you already have, we do feel entitled to some of the money, so we can hopefully buy it back. AITA? For keeping the lamp profits? Honestly? Yes, YTA. If you sold it before you knew, it would be different. But you knew it was important enough to them that they offered a reward for it. You intentionally chose to make a buck instead of doing the right thing. Were you legally wrong? No. But morally? YTA. Karma. YTA. Sure. Legally, you're in the clear, but it was obvious that this heirloom was sold by mistake and you consciously chose to flip it anyways. It would have been one thing if you were actually ignorant of the situation, but you found out the truth before you sold it. You could have been kind, but instead you were selfish. NTA. You bought it at a yard estate sale. At some point, they realized it was either a sentimental heirloom or that it was valuable, and they missed out on the profit. It was fair for them to post something aimed at the general public asking about it, to try to potentially get it back, and to offer a reward. It is also fair for you to ignore that post. It was semi reasonable to hunt you down and contact your mom directly, but they should not do so more than once. Anything else is harassment. Now, you and your mom could have decided to sell it back to them out of some noble intent, but you're under no obligation. Your mom bought it. She didn't steal it or accidentally find it tucked away inside another item she bought at a yard sale. It was a fair transaction. If the contractor sold something they shouldn't have, the heirs can take it up with the contractor who could potentially offer some compensation to help them buy it back. But I doubt this was contractor error. I suspect they realized the lamp was valuable and want to cash in. Unfortunately, they realized too late. Life sucks like that sometimes. But their error isn't your problem or your mom's. I buy vintage and antique stuff all the time at estate sales and auctions. If it was a photo album or something personal, I would do my best to reunite it with the heirs. But just a more valuable than expected antique or vintage piece? Nope. Thank them for reaching out and let them know that as you've already sold it, you don't expect to hear from them again. But you wanted to close the loop. Do not give them your buyer's contact info unless you clear it with your buyer first.